This video may contain spoilers for Team Starkid's The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, Black Friday, and Nightmare Time, Episode 1, Part 2, Waterworld. It should come as no surprise to you that I really like musicals. One particular company that I enjoy is called Team Starkid. They've produced multiple projects over the past 10 years, all of which have been uploaded to YouTube to be watched for free. Two of these projects, called The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals and Black Friday, are both full-length musicals that are part of a larger group called the Hatchetfield series. Now, Team Starkid has very recently produced a Zoom play in the style of a radio play called Nightmare Time. This will be a 3-part series, and each of the 3 episodes will be split into 2 separate parts. And they will all be uploaded to YouTube eventually, although one can purchase a digital ticket if one wishes. I'm not going to do that though, I don't have money. The second half of the first episode is entitled Waterworld, and it details the adventures of Bill and Alice, 2 side characters in The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, as they go to a theme park called Waterworld and try to escape the maniacal workings of the park's mascot, Blinky, who is not all that he appears. When I first watched this part of the episode, as I watched it, I began to notice several similarities with a theme park that people who frequent my channel might be pretty familiar with. In this video, I'm going to try to explain why I think Waterworld is based on the real-life theme park Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Team Starkid's first ever show, a Harry Potter musical, was entirely written and performed by students at the University of Michigan. Therefore, it makes sense that they would know what Cedar Point is and that would be culturally relevant to them. Additionally, there are several parallels to be drawn between several of the attractions at Waterworld and real-world ones at Cedar Point. For example, the flume ride, Eye Drop, is reminiscent of Snake River Falls, a flume ride similar to Splash Mountain without the theming or anything. There's also the Tearjerker, which is boasted to be the tallest roller coaster in the Midwest, which could realistically be anything because it seems like every year Cedar Point has a new tallest roller coaster, but it most closely parallels the Top Thrill Dragster, which is, as of right now, the tallest coaster in the Midwest. In addition, there are several shows produced both on the Midway and in theaters, both featuring and not featuring Cedar Point's intellectual property of Peanuts. These are reminiscent of Blinky's Watch Party, the show that Bill takes Alice to, featuring the Sniggles, who were also present in Black Friday the musical. The Western-themed shooting game that Alice plays also reminded me of the general vibe of Frontier Town, which is the Western-themed portion of Cedar Point. However, I will admit there are some holes in my theory. Firstly, Alice explicitly describes Waterworld to be a bad Disneyland ripoff. And she has good reason to say that too, because Waterworld is heavily IP focused. And basically everything there is Blinky and or eye themed. I mean, there's the eye candy that they sell at the concessions. All of the roller coasters have eye-related names. The show is called Blinky's Watch Party. Cedar Point is not nearly this all-in on their IP Peanuts. Most of the Peanuts-themed attractions are in the child portions of the park, such as Kitty Kingdom, Camp Snoopy, and Planet Snoopy. None of the adult-sized attractions, to my knowledge, are themed after Peanuts in any way. If anything, they lean a lot into just being themed after the town itself. Like, oh, check out this ride. It's called the Cedar Creek Mine Ride. Like, if you were to go to Cedar Point, you could very easily forget that it was Peanuts based if you were not there with a child. It would probably be impossible to forget that it was Blinky based in Watcher World. Though I'll never know for sure whether Watcher World is based on the real world theme park, Cedar Point, I do believe that it was at least partly an inspiration based on the origins of the company and the many similarities that one could draw between the two. Ultimately, though, no matter what theme park, if any, Watcher World is based on, Nightmare Time is shaping up to be a great series, and I would highly recommend it to anyone looking into more Hatchetfield lore.